I want to apologize to all my unemployed people. I know I be roasting y'all when I say that y'all need to get a job. But I didn't know the job market was actually this bad. Like, at this point, you might actually find your dad that left to get the milk than finding a job. Or you might not find either. Your dad is probably out there filling up another woman with milk. So a new report has just came out recently that there are now more unemployed people than job openings. There are around 7.4 million people that don't have a job, and there are only 7.18 million jobs that are available.
Are we dead ass?
I remember I made a video back in March talking about the job market and how trash it was. And I told myself, yeah, maybe towards the end of the year, things will get better. Nah, bruh, it got worse. 7.4 million people are unemployed. Hey, to all my unemployed people, I think it's time to learn a trade or get into that construction work. It literally feels like we are living in a Great Depression. First, with the job market being trashed, the house market being absolutely garbage, everything is expensive. It's some rough times we are living in. So to anyone that actually has a job, I advise y'all, do everything you can to keep that job. Show up on time. Stop calling in. Meet right the managers. If you have to, slurp up on some meat. Anything but quitting or getting fired.
Unfortunately, every bad thing you've heard about this job market it's true. It's very true. I have been interviewing for 3 jobs. I made it to the final rounds for 2 and did not get 2 out of 3.
The job market is terrible, but here's my best advice that I can give somebody who's looking for a job right now. Number 1, stay off of these recruiting websites, LinkedIn, Indeed.
Guys, I just want to say one thing right before I start this video, which is probably was going to make it very ironic, but not ironic at the same time. I don't think it's ironic at all, actually. It's very on theme. But the entire point is I just got yet another job rejection. At least I wasn't ghosted. Yeah. So I kid you not, as soon as I hit record, I got the email. I'll send you guys a screenshot. Here we go. Dear Isabella, thank you very much for taking the time to apply for the role at... Guys, I think I might know where this is going. After careful consideration and review of all candidates, we have decided to move forward with another applicant whose skills and experience more closely match the requirements of the role at this time. We are impressed with your background and qualifications and wish you the best of luck on your search, blah, 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 blah. And listen, this took not even 24 hours later, so...
Because I have no enemies. Well, that's a dumb question to ask, isn't it? It makes no sense to beat someone when you're trying to negotiate for peace. Especially since I just met you guys today. We don't know anything about each other. I have no grudges against you. So why do we have to fight? It's absurd. Because there's absolutely no reason for this many people to shed their blood.
This is crazy. I was gonna start with some humor, but if you see some tears in my eyes, I have nothing more to say. I mean, I'm mortified. Also, if you guys are asking, why is she holding a hairbrush upside down? Well, this is my pretend mic. If you guys subscribe, if I get to at least 1,000 subscribers, I will get a mic, an actual one. All I'm asking is to be monetized, to be able to buy a new mic, and possibly pay my rent.
Okay.
Guys, this is on theme. Let's get started with the video.
So I spoke about how I felt like any kind of financial advice right now was tone deaf. I also want to say that any kind of job advice is tone deaf too. The job market is not anything the same like it was a year ago. You used to be able to get a job easily, like when it came to waitressing or fast food or even stuff like customer service. Those jobs are now requiring people to have at least 3 interviews to make $12 an hour. People were asking, well, how is that woman working by herself at Burger King? How is she running the whole store by herself? Because Burger King requires you to do at least 2 interviews to then tell you, hey, do you want to make $7 an hour and work 12-hour shifts and take 30-minute breaks? Jobs that were entry level, literally no skill requirement, are requiring people to take more than 1 interview, are using AI to read their applications. You no longer can just walk in somewhere and be like, hey, I want to work here. I see a hiring sign outside. Are you guys hiring for real? Like, why is it that McDonald's, Amazon are always saying they're hiring, and yet you always hear about people who say that they tried to apply and they were declined? These are jobs that literally don't require a skill. Or the only skill is like, can you lift? Can you be on your feet for this amount of hours?
Job market is so bad. Y'all tell me why I just applied to be a special agent for the FBI. Because at this point, it is what it is.
So, this economy is great, right? The news says unemployment is low. My parents say back in my day, we just walked into a factory and got hired. Awesome.
Back in my day, we were so broke, we would have to use chapstick for lotion.
Grandma, wasn't chapstick more expensive than lotion?
Oh, I mean lotion for chapstick. See, grandma's getting old. See, you young folks don't know the real struggle. Back in my day, lips used to be so chapped, I wouldn't even have to clap. I could just...
But if you're like me, your job search is less like walking into a factory and more like screaming into the void of a LinkedIn Easy Apply.
Gen Z is facing the worst unemployment rate in decades.
More often than not, it's literally just rejection. And it's always like the automated messages. I've only gotten like one where it's like, oh, you can do like a video interview, but that's like the first stage out of like 7 others. So no luck.
So is it just a feeling that there are no jobs out there, or is Gen Z actually facing an employment problem? According to StatsCan, Canadian graduates between the ages of 15 and 24 are facing the highest unemployment rate this country has seen since the mid-90s. In January 2023, the seasonal adjusted unemployment rate in this group was 10%. Just over 2 years later, it sits at 14.2%. In Quebec, unemployment is below the national average, but it's still creeping up.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. There's also an older generation of baby boomers who haven't left their jobs, but it's really the uncertainty in the market.
And when you add inflation, the trade war with the US, and AI, it's created this environment of volatility and uncertainty.
It really shouldn't be that way. You know, like you put 4 years into your education, you should be able to find at least like a good number of jobs within the field, but it's kind of limited. And so now the option is for a lot of students like me to do a master's or a PhD.
The feds recently announced 6,000 more jobs for youth to attempt to help alleviate the job crunch. Even then, many are losing hope.
It's a little defeating because, you know, it takes time in developing your resume to make sure, you know, you have stuff on it to stand out, to get that interview, to even, you know, kind of get your foot in the door, get connections and stuff like that. So getting the rejection, in which usually comes in the form of an email, it is a little defeating because we put time and effort into it.
The Quebec government's pause on work visas for non-residents could open up some jobs for new graduates.
But these tend to be jobs that are lower pay, but they are suitable for recent graduates because that's how you get your experience.
And at this point, when it comes to internship and jobs, students say they will take whatever they can get to start advancing their careers while they wait for the oldest generation to retire.
You guys are beginning to understand the pure, unadulterated pain. It's not in our heads, guys. It's a reality, and a really depressing one at that.
When y'all said the job market is bad right now, I thought y'all meant stuff that requires a degree, like an actual job, like something like important, something that takes like skill and actual knowledge, like creative director, an IT specialist, people that know how to do engineering, therapy, teaching. I thought there was a job market crisis for that. I've been trying to get a job since like summer basically started, and I couldn't find any. I couldn't find a summer job before I get back to college. I couldn't.
Let's get into the main point of this tragic comedy, as I would like to put it. The entry-level job posting. It's a masterpiece. The infamous have 3 to 5 years of experience for an entry-level role.
My issue with the job market right now is that all these jobs aren't really entry-level jobs. They say entry-level, but then have the longest list of requirements, accolades, certifications, degrees that you need to have. One of my friends that I knew in college was a chemistry major, and he was applying to jobs, and he showed me this one job application, and you needed a master's degree, certifications, like it was all these things. The list was super duper long, and then it was $50K a year, entry level. And then the job description was even worse. Like he was going to be doing like really advanced stuff, had a long list of tasks. It was going to be a lot of work. And that's my issue with the job market. These companies just say entry level so they can kind of get away with paying you little to no money. Basically, in this economy, 50K is like nothing. And yeah, they just kind of want to work you to death while paying you shit.
Experience with a programming language that was invented last Tuesday? Check. Let me just pull that out of my backpack of crippling student debt.
3,000. That's the number of jobs I've applied to as of today. 3,000 jobs. During the course of the year and a half that I've been out of work after a injury that happened on the job, trying to find another job has been so difficult. Now, mind you, I have 25 years experience as a sales manager, 29 years as an event manager. I'm well overqualified for any job I apply to, but yet, for some reason, over the course of me applying to 3,000 jobs, I've only had 9 interviews, and I've had maybe 15 callbacks, and all the other ones are fake. These days, you have to actually look at the actual website versus Indeed or LinkedIn, but both of those sites are basically worthless. They're now becoming social media sites where it's more about popularity versus an actual job. So, I'm just putting it out there. Tomorrow is my birthday. It would be really nice if I could find work. So I'm putting that out there to the gods above. There's only so much resources that I can use before I run out of money. And frankly, the market is that bad.
So wait, you're telling me the career ladder is missing the first 3 rungs? Cool. I guess we're just supposed to ascend using vibes and manifesting it into existence. Instead of me being bored, get some 10 years of experience first. Let me be born 10 years before I'm actually born to get those extra years of experience. And guess what? Internships don't count because, well, you need experience for those too.
At this point, I think I'm just gonna sell feet pics online for money because the job market right now is shit! I'm currently looking for a job and I don't have that much experience, so I'm just looking for an entry-level position, okay? Nothing too crazy. I'm like looking at these entry-level positions. Let me know why one of them said 8 fucking years of experience. 8 years? You see, I'm no mathematician, but I graduated from college 2 years ago, and the last time I checked, college was 4 years? So 4 plus 2 is 6, right? So the extra 2 years would have meant that I would have been in high school. 8 years of industrial experience. Girl, I was still busy learning what the nucleus of a cell was. Like, you mean 8 years of industrial experience? No. Wait, but hold on. There's more. The tomfoolery doesn't end here. Nope. All of a sudden, all companies want to release ghost jobs where they just leave the position, but they never intend to fill it. So it's basically just rotting up there on the job board for like 6-7 months, and people are applying, getting their hopes up, and trying to get a new job, but clearly that job isn't meant to be filled. So like, why is it still there? You're wasting my time! I want a job and I want it now! I'm literally gonna pull a Katie Fang and start crying because of work. But the difference between me and her is that she actually has a job. Meanwhile, I don't. Oh my god. Wait, that makes it worse. Wait. Oh my god.
You've spent hours perfecting your resume. It's a work of art. You're ready to send it to a person. A real human being who will read your story and see your potential. But actually, LOL, no. Your resume is going to a robot. Application tracking system, or an ATS, which is basically a gatekeeping AI that filters you out based on keywords.
On average, recruiters will receive between 100 to 400 resumes in a day. Bigger companies like Google, those recruiters receive thousands. So an ATS, or an applicant tracking system, can help. It's a software that automates and streamlines the recruitment process for employers. So let me show you how it works. So this is the general flow of an ATS process. First, a job is created. It then goes into the job being published on job boards like Indeed, LinkedIn, Monster, etc. Then, job seekers will apply, so they'll submit their resumes and application through a company's website or job board. The ATS will collect and store information in a database and process relevant information from the resumes. That's where it identifies specific details such as contact information, work history, education, and other important key points. This is where the keyword matching happens, where candidates whose profiles closely match the criteria are given higher rankings. The ATS automatically screens and filters out candidates who do not meet the specific criteria. This helps recruiters focus on a smaller pool of qualified applicants, saving time during the initial stages of the hiring process. This is where the recruiters reviewed the filtered resumes and then schedules interviews. The cycle will repeat as long as the job is posted online. Job seekers will continue to apply. The ATS will continue to screen the resumes. Interviews will happen, and finally it ends where the applicant is hired.
Guess what? A real human isn't even screening you guys. You have an AI that's looking for simple things like keywords. If you don't even meet the basic standards of their keywords, forget you even applied. The irony is that we're using AI to get a job to help companies that use AI to screen us out. It's a full circle moment of digital misery.
Hi, what's this meeting for?
Unfortunately, today we're cutting staff, and you've been affected. Why are you laughing?
No. Sorry, it's
not
you're
funny.
broke.
What?
That's like so
That's
embarrassing for
offensive.
you.
That's rude.
No, I mean, you should have told me. I didn't know you guys were this poor.
We're not poor, the market shifted.
That's really cringe. I mean, can't we just start a GoFundMe or something? Like,
That
I
won't
can
be
help you guys
necessary.
out. It's not a big deal. This just isn't a good look, girl. It's giving, it's giving poverty, honestly.
That is very offensive. We're going
Really
to report this.
embarrassing for you. I was doing 3 people's jobs anyway. Bye.
Make sure to send your lap.
And if by some miracle you get a job, you have the privilege of living with the looming threat of massive layoffs. One day, you're on the company Slack. The next, you're not. And it's not because you messed up, because some random day, an executive woke up and decided the company needed to optimize.
Here's a fact. You're fired. Yeah. Well, here's another question. Anyone here hate space travel? Anyone? Alright, you're fired. Alright, let's relax. Let's play some music. Francis, you're fired. See ya.
So, we're the first generation to enter the workforce, as the economy is basically playing a game of musical chairs with their livelihoods. Fun. And finally, there's the great disconnect. People are looking at us, the most educated generation, and wondering why we're not just grateful to have a job. We want a career that aligns with our values and gives us at least a livable wage, not just a paycheck that pays half the rent.
Just stop buying avocado toast and you'll afford a house in this economy.
It's just that the rules of the game have changed, and frankly, the game seems rigged. The US job market is a wild ride. But the good news is, we're not alone. We've got our phones, our TikToks, and our shared collective despair, which is, you know, something. And if you're out there on your 100th application, or even 1,000th, just know you're a legend for even trying. What's the wildest job requirement you've seen? Drop it in the comments. And if you're ready to scream into the void with me, hit the follow button. We're all in this together. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a networking event to attend. Love you guys. See you next time. Peace out.